It's the Late Night Build with Chris Tankersley, Kelly Andrews, a peer review demo by Diana Rodriguez Manrique, special guest Jen Looper, musical guest Mynah Marie, a.k.a. To Abigail, and your host, the bald, bearded builder himself.
Hey, that intro looks wrong, but that's okay. Welcome, everybody, to the bald. No, wait, this is the Late Night Build. I hope you're having a great Friday. Boy, it is a Friday, isn't it? Oh my goodness, what a Friday. I'm really having a good Friday, believe it or not. It's fantastic. I'm so happy to be back with you. We have got one of the best shows that we have lined up in a long time. We haven't streamed for about a month, so it couldn't help but be one of the best we've had in a long time, I guess so. But nonetheless, we have a great special guest tonight. We have Jen Looper from Microsoft. We have an amazing musical performance later by To Abigail. We have a very cool hackathon going on the whole stream tonight for some pretty cool prizes. I'm kind of jealous, to be honest. Diana Rodriguez Manrique is back with us to do a demo. I love when she's joining us. And then we've got magic. No, like legit magic. Kelly Andrews is here to perform a magic trick for us on stream. We got a lot to get through tonight, a whole lot. And I'm so glad you're here. You know what? How about we just get right to it? Let's do this.
If we lived in a world where all technology was made of cheeseburgers, Vonage's unified communications, contact centers, and APIs would still be the best and most delicious in the business. Now we're talking.
Hey, guess what? I am joined by some amazing folks tonight. They are, let's see, there's Chris Tankersley, one of our coworkers.
Hello.
Chris, can you introduce yourself?
Yes, my name's Chris Tankersley. I am the PHP
And be sure to
developer
unmute
for
yourself.
Vonage. I am unmuted.
You're unmuted.
That's the
I just
best
can't hear you.
part.
There you go. Yeah.
Can you hear me now? Okay. Oh, this afternoon's going great. So many technical difficulties. So my name's Chris Tankersley. I am the PHP developer advocate for Vonage. So I am in charge of maintaining the SDK, but also outreach with the PHP community itself.
Awesome. And then we have, so Chris is going to be helping during our hackathon tonight. And we are joined by Eric Mann and Chuck Reeves, who are going to be competing. So Eric and Chuck, you're going to be completing a series of different tasks. Let's say maybe something like send an SMS, receive an SMS, just different things. They run the gamut. And each one has different point values associated with it. Person at the end of the stream with the most points wins. What do you win, Mike? Well, let me tell you. This week, you have your choice of prizes. We've never done this. In the history of the Late Night Build, you have two choices. Because it's kind of ecosystem thing. You have the choice of either some AirPod Pros or some Microsoft Surface earbuds. So you pick your poison. What ecosystem do you want to live in? You get the buds of choice. Now, before we go on, let's give our contestants a chance to introduce themselves. Eric, can you tell us a little bit more about yourself?
Absolutely. My name is Eric. I'm a director of engineering for a company out here in Portland called Vacasa. I primarily work with PHP, Python, Golang, JavaScript, and pretty much any other language that gets the job done.
Wow, you skipped Cold Fusion, but I think you hit all the other ones.
Well, I did say any language that gets the job done. So
There you go. Here you go. Chuck, tell us more about yourself.
Hi, I'm Chuck Reeves. I'm a DevOps engineer for a company called Zones, where we do huge infrastructure projects for Starbucks, TJ Maxx, a whole bunch of companies in there. I work on a software that basically facilitates all of our processing and configuration of all these servers. I mainly work in JavaScript, a lot of Node, PHP, some Ruby, some Python, and some Go as well.
Oh, that's awesome. So you also are hitting like all the things.
hmm Yeah, so it'll be interesting going up against Eric.
That's great. That's great. Well, yes, yeah. You can run all the code. We should do all the challenges in a different language.
We could, but part of the I want some guinea pigs, so we're gonna do it in PHP. Next time we'll do it in COBOL.
Oh, you're testing them. Okay, that's right.
Mhm.
Can't go. Ooh, that's a tough one. So I'm going to let you all get to it, and we'll come back to you periodically throughout the stream tonight to see how you're doing, who's, what kind of point totals we're looking at, and see how it goes. Good luck to both of you.
See you in a bit.
And with that, I want to introduce first of all, is that prize legit or what? I'm really jealous of the earbuds. I'm really torn. Like if I was to win this, I don't know which one I would want more. Because I like those Surface Buds, but also AirPod Pros. It's a quandary, I tell you. It's a quandary. That might be the hardest thing they work on all night is choosing one. But in the meantime, we have a great guest with us tonight. Miss Jen Looper is a Google developer expert. She is a cloud advocate lead at Microsoft, specifically with academics. A cool fact about Jen, she has a PhD in French literature, which is just amazing to see that transition from one career to the other. She's here tonight to talk to us about diversity, and I can't wait to bring her in. So if you don't mind, let's go straight to her and talk to her more. Welcome, Jen. It's so good to see you. I'm glad you were able to join us tonight.
Thank you so much. I really appreciate the opportunity.
It's a lot. There's a lot going on this weekend, and I know, we wanted to have you in to talk about diversity because we love the work you're doing with FrontEnd Foxes. And I wonder if you could share with us a little bit more about what you're doing there and about diversity in general.
Sure, yeah. So we started a diversity initiative from within the Vue Js community. We called it Vue Vixens, and we launched that 2 years ago. I think the official launch was February 2018. So it's been a couple of years, couple permutations, kind of figuring out what it is we want to do. The mission has never changed. We're in the business of educating women, so whatever that means, any people who identify as women can come to us and find workshops, find a supportive community, hop in on Slack, get mentoring, ask for code reviews, ask for code help, join a book club. We have all kinds of activities on our Slack. And then we realized that we've got folks coming into the community from all different walks of life and who are doing different tech stacks in their jobs, but who still would like to interface with us. And we had enough folks asking, the question, what about React? What about Angular? What about other frameworks that we thought, well, maybe we should go ahead and enlarge and expand a little bit. So I rebranded completely to FrontEnd Foxes. And that rebranding has happened has been complete as of a couple weeks ago, actually, because when you rebrand something that you launched as a nonprofit with all the taxes and everything, you have to go back to the IRS, and they actually charge you $200 to rebrand your nonprofit. Wow. Isn't that a laugh riot? Thank you so much. But we did that, and so at this point, we're kind of consolidating chapters and figuring out, do you want to keep using the name Vue Vixens? Do you want to rebrand completely and start teaching React workshops? So we're kind of in that process of figuring out what works best for our various chapters, how we can consolidate and how we can work better together. So, for example, we consolidated all of our German, Austrian, and Dutch chapters into the DACH group, so DACH. No, sorry, not the Dutch. It's, yes, Liechtenstein. It's basically the Germans and the Austrians are all together in their DACH chapter, and then we have the Benelux chapter, which Belgium, Netherlands, and Luxembourg. That's what it is. Gets a little confusing. But anyway, so yeah, we're just consolidating and kind of grouping folks together and figuring out what everybody wants to do. I just had a great meeting last night with our Americas group. We decided to create like one big Americas chapter, and that's going to work, I think, nicely for doing like Pan-American workshops.
Right.
And the other big challenge is like moving online, because we were designed to be an in-person kind of group. We would go to conferences and we would do workshops for free, piggybacking on a conference. Well, that business model died a sad and sudden death, right? So now it's a question of figuring out what works online, and that's tricky. So we're just, we have our Zoom instance, and we're doing sort of gatherings and figuring out what kind of events we can do and how it's going to work online. So that's what we're up to.
Wow. Yeah, I can see where it's really tricky, because I think a lot of the sessions you have, you're actually learning Vue, right? Or learning these technologies. So trying to teach that remotely gets a little weird.
Yeah, and it's kind of like a code along, self-driven workshop model with mentors. So everything, fortunately, has been written down, and it's basically you just walk through the workshop step by step. And we're working in Code Sandbox, which is nice because it's all browser-based, so there's not a big install festival before you start. That's been a big help. So thank God for Code Sandbox. It's really a helpful tool, and everyone can just like hop in this thing, spin it up, and start coding together. And that's been a great bonus for us.
That's awesome. I can't wait to see how you kind of expand on that and make it more online friendly. I have a feeling there's a lot of organizations that are going to want to steal your ideas as far as that goes, because everybody's trying to figure this out.
We're all trying to figure out the best way to work this. We're actually partnering with other organizations who are doing the same thing. So there's a group called Tech Together. So the former Girl Develop It chapters in Boston, Austin, and I want to say Denver created Tech Together. They're doing a hackathon for women. So I'm like, well, this fits into our model. Let's just do a workshop, on top of their hackathon. So I just registered the organization as a mentor group. So I think it's I think the best strategy is to partner. We can't fly alone. We can't fly solo. Right. It just isn't going to work.
Yeah, that's fantastic.
Work together.
It's funny. We're going to talk about diversity, and I think for a lot of people, maybe not, but for a lot of people, it's a lot of times it's like out of sight, out of mind. You don't think about it in your day to day. It's certainly not something that I had really necessarily thought about a lot until I had 2 daughters, and then suddenly it was really brought to the forefront of, hey, you can write code if you want to. That's not a boy thing, and that's not a geeky thing. It is kind of, sometimes it's geeky, but it's okay to be geeky and a girl as well, right? And it's so help us understand better, maybe, what diversity is and what does it matter, and how can it benefit us, and how we can help.
Yeah, great questions. All diversity is hand in hand with inclusion. So it's really, making sure that there's space for everyone at the table and that everyone's voices are heard equally. So it's all about, creating access and making sure that everyone has access to come and enjoy the fruits of our labors, right? So this is a great place to be at, especially right now, with all the layoffs and the pandemics and everything that's going on. It's really a good place to make sure there's a seat at the table so everyone can come and skill up. And I have to plug Microsoft. We just announced a big initiative to skill, I think, 25 million people in various technical fields. So they identified the top 10 technical fields that people could get jobs at after they've been laid off because of this pandemic. And then they're opening up a ton of free content to allow everyone who has any kind of internet connection to skill up. So it's really impressive. It's a partnership with LinkedIn Learn, GitHub Learn, and Microsoft Learn.
Wow,
so it's all systems and it's all for free. So it's really a good place to be at right now. But diversity is, a lot of people say, well, we have diversity of thought. Well, yes, that's great. We also need diversity of experience, I think. And I was just listening to the woman who wrote So You Want to Talk About Race?
Mm-hmm.
I think her first name is Idioma. And she said, you want to hire, everyone says, we want to hire, one Black person, one Asian person, one woman, and they kind of like pigeonhole
Mm-hmm.
everyone. But first of all, you want intersectionality. So you want to make sure that, you can find people that have many experiences and that are, diverse in terms of their lived experience. But you also want to make sure that you hire someone because they bring something unique to the table. So she said, don't say I want a Black engineer to check off a box. It's like, I want a Black engineer because those people are magical. Mm-hmm. They're amazing. Like, they bring something unique and special to the table that no one else can bring.
Yeah.
And I think that that's a really important thing to remember, that everyone has something special to bring because of our lived experiences.
Absolutely. Yeah. I think back on the times where something has really shaken up a team and brought new innovation and ideas. And it's the times where we've been, diversified, when it's not just been us three white guys in the group making all the decisions. Surprisingly, when you interact with people who have different experiences, doors seem to open. I mean, it's kind of a wild experience, great.
And this is the greatness of, America is a land of immigrants, of immigration. So it's always been my personal pleasure to sort of interface with all different communities and all different types of folks. My husband's from mainland China, so we have a lot of discussions about these things just around the dinner table, and it's a really interesting place to be. And of course, this moment in history in the U.S. is really fraught, but it's also an opportunity to rethink some of the stuff we've always done, and reconfigure ourselves and recalibrate and redo.
Yeah, I agree. So you had mentioned when we were talking before about going through the Declaration of Independence, which I think is so appropriate and great for, certainly the season that we're in here in the States, but also as it applies to what we're talking about.
Definitely. So by training, I'm actually a literary theorist and historian. So my specialty was medieval French literature when I had to retrain to get into tech, because it's not what you would call a growth industry in terms of jobs. So, but for me, I always look at history, and I remember this moment when I went to the National Archives in DC. After having spent so much time in France, where you see these monuments and these gorgeous, cathedrals and, beautiful things that people have built that have lasted for hundreds, if not thousands of years, and you come to the US, and they're like a couple pieces of ratty paper.
Right.
In a glass case. And that's what the country was founded on. That's wild. So it just seems so ephemeral. But what's really powerful is actually the words on those pages. And I think it might be interesting to kind of just sift through. I thought maybe for this, since we're talking about diversity, let's talk about what this country was founded on, and how at least one of these documents is a call to action to recalibrate when you see things that aren't right. Mm-hmm. So maybe we could post some of the text.
I absolutely love this.
Yeah. So Declaration of Independence, Thomas Jefferson, who was a highly problematic person, was also quite a good writer. So we have to hand him that. But he was, certainly a person of the Enlightenment, although he certainly was not enlightened in his own personal life. He was a man of his era. He's one of the many founding fathers who owned slaves, as we know. Interestingly, the one guy who didn't own slaves of the founding fathers was actually John Adams, and his wife Abigail were very, very staunch kind of early abolitionists. It's kind of interesting to read some of their writings. Mm-hmm. And Adams and Jefferson became very severe political rivals, but at the end of their lives, they became fast friends, which is also something to remember, that you could be fighting. Those two fought tooth and nail through a really nasty presidential election. Mm-hmm. And then eventually, when they were older guys, they started writing to each other and communicating, and they became the best of friends, and they died within, I think, a few days of each other. It's quite an interesting story of Jefferson and Adams. Yeah, so interesting characters. But what I thought we could just do is read through the first part of the Declaration of Independence, which comes in basically two parts. The first part is a convincing argument or why we need revolution. The second part is outlines the reasons why. So it's kind of like, let's make the case, and then we're going to give you evidence. So it's an evidence-based document, and it has a terrible list of the crimes of the crown,
right.
The crimes of the second part. And that, that's quite specific to the moment in history. But the first part of this document is fascinating. We hold these truths to be self-evident, that all men are created equal, that they are endowed by their Creator with certain unalienable rights, that among these are life, liberty, and the pursuit of happiness. So, of course, when it's written men, we're talking about men, right? And this is what Abigail Adams mentioned, hey, don't forget the ladies. And John Adams was kind of like, yeah, keep talking, honey. Kind of brushed her off a little bit. But again, people of their times. But Abigail was a really tough cookie. And she saw from the beginning some of the problems that were going to be inherent and begged for the founders to remember the ladies. It's famous that she said, remember the ladies. Because, we're creating something new. We're creating something different from what the Europeans created. We're creating something different from what's going on in other monarchies. So let's remember that we have this opportunity to create new. I don't think they really paid attention to her, but at least there was that voice in the background mentioning. So when we talk about, all men are created equal, yes, the men are created equal, especially if they're white. So certainly the Black people in the country were not considered at all in this document, and it's important to remember that. It was not until considerably later that Black men were given the vote and then women were given the vote. So this really long history of recalibrations and corrections. So, and then the document talks about, what is a government? A government exists to secure rights. So to secure these rights, governments are instituted among men, again, deriving their just powers from the consent of the governed. So the consent of the governed, that's all the people. So this is kind of in theory, at least, it's a bottom-up document. And it opens the door for people to think about how we can have a stake and a say in the creation and the recreation of our governmental institution. Yeah. We can get to the next bit. And so we're laying out the reasons why it might be a good moment to recalibrate and actually have a revolution, which seems like a fun activity at the time, right? That whenever any form of government becomes destructive to these ends, it is the right of the people to alter or to abolish it, and to institute new government, laying its foundations on such principles, and organizing its powers in such form, as to them shall seem most likely to affect their safety and happiness. So again, that word happiness, life, liberty, and the pursuit of happiness, and here we have safety and happiness coming back again. So it's this idea that, look, if there's any type of government, any form of government that is bad, you have the right, as we the people, we the people have the right as the governed to make sure that we're happy, that we guarantee our safety and happiness by recalibrating it, revolting if possible. The peasants are revolting. Yes, they are. But so this is an interesting thing to write in the foundational document of a country, saying that, by the way, and integral to our foundation of a country, we're going to put into our Declaration of Independence that if you don't like it, you can blow it apart and start again.
Yeah.
Fascinating.
Yeah.
Fascinating. And radical. And
I think we kind of have forgotten that a little bit, right? I mean, it's become, oh no, this is what we have. It's terrible. Nobody, I think, really likes, the U.S. government in general. I don't know if anybody around the world is really happy with their government, but it's interesting how a few hundred years removed, we've kind of forgotten that, hey, we have the option to hit the reset button.
Hit the reset button, vote. And, we the people hopefully can mobilize and can rethink what we're doing, how we're doing it, and the institutions that are supporting the way things are done, because they've always been. And this is an interesting statement here, because this is a paean to human nature. And it talks about how basically we have this tendency to be apathetic. So it says, prudence indeed will dictate that governments long established should not be changed for light and transient causes. And accordingly, all experience has shown that mankind are more disposed to suffer, while evils are sufferable, than to right themselves by abolishing the forms to which they are accustomed. So this is this kind of like bone to the people who are saying, it's too much trouble. It's too much trouble to bother changing stuff because, we suffer, but we don't suffer that badly. Yeah. Well, this is a call to us to look at, maybe we're not suffering that badly, but maybe other people in our communities are. So maybe this is that moment where we should, throw prudence aside and recalibrate and rethink And if you got to overthrow something, by God, overthrow it.
Yeah, absolutely. That is so good.
Fascinating. A fascinating document. So it is their right, it is their duty, they being all the people who are either suffering or watching people suffer, to throw off such government and to provide new guards for their future security. So this is real cool because this is basically, yes, you can destroy, you can dismantle, you can rethink, you can recalibrate, but it's also your responsibility to provide new guards for their future security, to create something new. It's almost a utopian document at this point. So we've made the case for, we have the right to overthrow something. A lot of times we don't want to because we're bored and we're apathetic and there are pandemics and crazy stuff going on. And then, but here we have this call to action and a call to arms. We can throw off a government, and we need to work together to create something new for their future security. So this is a really, it's a radical document, but it's also a call. It's a call to your better nature and a call to throw off apathy and to always have this desire to make yourself better and to create something new. Right. So I think it's an amazing document. And when we're always complaining about our governments, make sure you read the founding documents, read the couple of ratty founding papers that was created on, which are full of interesting Enlightenment ideas. And definitely worth a read. If you continue this document, you'll see an awful list of the crimes of the king. That he's dragging our sorry butts over to England to try us for crimes we didn't commit in the first place. So that kind of stuff. So great document, and definitely worth a read.
Yeah. So thinking through that document and specifically how it can apply to us, certainly it's talking in terms of the form of government they were looking at building here in the U.S. But of course, like we've got people watching us tonight that are, all around the world, right? And not in terms of our governments as a whole, which, we should be involved in, but just even in our smaller spheres of influence, right? Our workplaces, our families, what sorts of things can we do to affect change, specifically in regards to diversity? In my workplace or in my team, how can I be an advocate for others to have a seat at the table?
Yeah, I think that you have to start from things you can control and things that you can do to change your own heart and to change your own self. So, you may be in a quite oppressive regime where you don't even have the opportunity to vote, where you don't have any sort of democratic processes, but you can control your own heart and your own thoughts. And that comes from good intention and diversity of education. And when I say education, it's not going back to school, but educating yourself about, what other people's experiences might be in your communities, how you can listen thoughtfully and listen actively to what they're trying to tell you. And I think just by active listening, we can do a tremendous amount. We can help other people by making sure that their voices are heard and internalized. We can help our own hearts and our own fort intérieur, as we used to say, our own strength, internal strength, by diversifying our own lines of thought, and by listening and taking in and changing your own heart. Then you have the authority to suggest changes within an organization, because you can start from within, make changes within, and then coming from a place of education and awareness, change things that are surrounding you, or at least try.
Yeah, it seems like maybe this is just me being in the tech field, being all pro tech field, but it seems like we almost have a little bit of an advantage because our whole careers are based on learning. We can't stay stagnant and just, we are always constantly learning some new technology, some new framework. Things are changing so often. I think if we really put our mind to it, we could put that talent and ability to work in this case. Studying, I know just for me, I haven't been certainly exposed to a lot in the forms of diversity. So in the past month, I've been reading a lot. Where I would read a lot in the past, I'm reading different books, not necessarily what I would have read before, right? I think the book you mentioned earlier, I read earlier this month. So all just kind of educating myself to other people's perspectives and points of view, that just really opens my eyes to where I see something as simple as, going to a store or walking down the street at night. Someone else sees that exact same experience through a completely different lens. And identifying that, knowing that, it really makes all the world of difference if you apply it.
If you apply it, absolutely. Yeah. And like we have these opportunities to join book clubs, to talk to other people, as long as we're willing to kind of open our little bubbles up into a bigger circle. On Twitter, we follow certain people. Maybe there are certain other groups of folks that we should be opening up our ears to and listening, definitely. And it was funny because I just participated in a hackathon of Microsoft interns. And boy, are these questions at the top of mind for them. It was fascinating to watch the hacks that they, as young technologists, created to foster listening and to foster learning. It was fascinating. Someone created a website, which could just as easily be like a Chrome extension, to suggest readings every day. So you input in a little form, you input, I want to spend 15 minutes every day. And then it would create a suggestion engine and say, okay, today you could read chapter 1 of this book. Today you could follow this person. Today you could take a look at this monument and learn more about it. So it was a whole curated list. It was, really good ideas. And listen to the kids. Listen to the young people, because not only they are the future, but they know.
Yeah.
These Zoomers, I'm telling you, they are. They're going to be awesome. It's really impressive to watch.
You have completely distracted me. I want that extension or that app. That is fascinating. It
was called Ally Hub, I think. I think that's what it was called. But that was not the only hack along those lines.
Yeah.
So much little chat bots that would help you a suggested learning list. It would build a whole curriculum based on what you're interested in. It was amazing.
Wow. I hope they continue working on those and can push something out. I'd love to see that and find more. I'm sticking to my little list that I think Tatiana Mack suggested to me. So I've got a lot more to go in that one. So I've got some time.
Well, maybe we could take that list and use that as the curated, list for this Chrome extension. That would say, it's time for your ally reading list moment. So here you go.
Yeah, and I love your suggestion too about even with social media. Like if you look at your follower, who you're following, if they all look like you, maybe it's time to diversify. Find some other viewpoints and watch that timeline change. It's fascinating when you can get out of your bubble.
Yeah, and also use Twitter analytics to take a look at who's following you.
Yeah.
Because only one group is following you. Why is that, I wonder? Maybe are you not considered to be, have anything to say to other groups of people? Maybe it's interesting.
That's a really good point. I know what I'm doing right after the stream. That's that's the one. I think one of the pros that we're going through right now. If they're, I think people are becoming aware. People are wanting to act. They're looking for ways to act, and any ways we can provide opportunities like this to learn more, to resources to read and to follow on Twitter, Instagram, whatever. I think it benefits us all when we can all kind of pull each other up.
Yeah, and I think that you can watch some of the activities in the community of folks who are really walking the walk. For example, I don't know if you've noticed Juneteenth conference on June 19th. That thing was planned within 2 weeks.
Yeah.
It was astounding. It was a Microsoft engineer who said, I want to create a conference with Black speakers, and that's what we're going to do. And wow, 10,000 people listening. Yeah. Astounding. It was astounding. And that's impact.
Yeah.
Those are things to support.
Yeah. Yeah. And the thing I think it's important to point out is not only was it kind of like short notice, really put together quickly, it was polished. I mean, it was good. I mean, it was a quality content, quality speaker, everything about it was quality. It wasn't, I can rush a lot of things and get a lot of things out quick, but they're not going to be as polished as they were able to pull off. It was really impressive.
Yeah, one of my colleagues in the department is really great at putting really fast conferences together, and Hank does an incredible job. It would scare me half to death.
Oh yeah.
At that short note, do a CFP within a week.
Oh yeah. Oh no. You're triggering me.
Yep.
You're triggering me, Jen. Stop.
Sorry.
I'm gonna start twitching in a minute. I can't do this.
Yeah.
Jen, this has been so fascinating. Thank you so much for hanging out with us for a little while tonight.
It's always a pleasure to talk to our friends at Vonage. You guys are just amazing, so I really appreciate all of your work, and I always enjoy having a chat with the folks. So give me feedback.
Yeah.
And if you're interested in Revolutionary War history, you might take a look at the book that Cokie Roberts wrote called Founding Mothers. Where's the camera? There it is.
I'll put a link to it in there.
Yeah, it's interesting. However, the Black experience is pretty much left to the side, so that's something to think about. Because a lot of these women, yes, they're awesome, but they're also slave owners. So it's kind of went hand in hand, but it gives you a different perspective.
You know what you mentioned? So there's another book. Can I mention one? Because it's I'm mentioning it because I'm not sure if you've seen it, and I love it. Love it. It's called History Lessons. Okay. It's actually, History Lessons, How Textbooks from Around the World Portray U.S. History. So they go through U.S. history, but every chapter, if this chapter is on the American Revolution, they fill that chapter with chapters from England, from the Caribbean, from Africa. So you see it from everyone else's perspective. It's so eye-opening to see things, when they discuss the slave trade. What is the vantage point from Nigerian textbooks? What's the vantage point from even English textbooks, who at that point had long abolished the slave trade? It's really, really fascinating to see history in that, with a different lens than what we hear.
Yeah, and those are the kind of things that help you completely revamp your perspective. And it's encouraging to me to see folks like my dad, who grew up in Oklahoma. He was born in 1936. He had never heard of the Tulsa Massacre.
Wow.
Ever. And he grew up in Stillwater, and it was completely erased from history. But what was great was for me to hear my dad, who's in his 83 now, it was talking about, I can't believe I didn't know this. I can't believe we weren't taught this. This is appalling. Yeah. And I was like, wow, see, he changed his heart. Yeah. So I think, and it's amazing, even when you're 83.
That's fantastic. Awesome. Well, I know you have got a trip you're taking, so you enjoy the family. Stay safe, stay healthy in these times, and hopefully we'll see you again soon.
Thank you so much. Much appreciated.
All right. Goodbye. Is it just me, or is Jen not absolutely amazing? Every time I talk to her, I walk away, and I'm like, oh, gosh, this is going to take me like a day or two just to unwrap and think through. It's pretty wild. Listen, if you're interested in FrontEnd Foxes, I just put a link into chat. Please go and get in there and learn more about them. Follow them on Twitter. Feel free to follow Jen on Twitter. I think she's in there at Jen Looper. So get in there and give her a follow as well. I'll put that in chat for you as well. That was amazing. She is so special. Just an amazing person. So glad to have her with us. Listen, we've got some progress being made with our hackathon participants. Let's go check in with them. Chris, how's it going?
It's going. We have some points on the board, and both of them are moving along with the challenges. So SMSs are flying. Hopefully some voice calls will be made here soon.
So do we have any points on the board yet?
Yes, we do.
So don't tell me who. We don't want to tell the lead, but how many points do we have?
So far, currently, there's 25 points on the board. Ooh. I'm sure another 25 points will be here soon.
Very soon. Okay, awesome. Well, I'm going to let you get back to it. Let Eric and Chuck keep heads down, working and plugging along in, Go and PHP and Cold Fusion and COBOL, all those languages I'm sure they're employing right now. Are you keeping them focused to PHP?
I am. I'm forcing them to do PHP.
Well, that's fine. That's fine. This is great because you get to test stuff. Yeah, that's awesome. Okay, well, I'm going to let you guys get back to it.
Hold on, wait. We can't use x86 assembler for this or anything like that? You sure it's got to be PHP?
It does. Sorry. No assembler.
Honestly, I think we should award bonus points if you did that.
This hackathon will go on for 5 days to get that done.
But if
you can run PHP in WebAssembly, so I will give bonus points for that.
well, see, in my mind, I'm thinking if you do that, then the prize, instead of being like earbuds or something, should be like time appropriate. So you basically get like a Walkman. You know?
All my cassette tapes I have to dig out.
Yeah, break out those cassette tapes. We're gonna have some fun tonight, baby. Yeah. Awesome. Well, I'll let you all keep your heads down and keep plugging away, and we're gonna keep on going. We got a lot more stuff to cover.
See you in a bit.
So we are joined this week by an amazing musical guest. I first saw Mynah Marie, a.k.a. To Abigail, at Half Stack Online about a month ago, I'm going to say. Her performance was just amazing. Matter of fact, I was giving a talk right after her, and I thought, I'm watching and I'm thinking, there's no way I can follow this. They have set me up for failure, because every bit of the music she writes, she does with code and using Sonic Pi. So all the music you hear in her performance is generated. And matter of fact, she sent us some great content to share, and you're going to see in the background some code being written on the fly, like during the performance. It's wild. So without further ado, let me introduce our musical guest, Mynah Marie, also known as To Abigail, and I'm going to sit back and enjoy it with you. All right.
I get up, I drink coffee, and I repeat to myself, forgetting, shielding, facing everything coming my way. Grateful to be alive, well, still. Then, all calms down. I can hear my heartbeat again. I reward myself by taking a break and feeling. Taking it all in, the successes, failures, feedback, comments, and a world of possibilities open. starting to build up inside me. I feel my fingertips itching to be reunited to the keys. I sit, roll one, start jamming. Adrenaline rushes through my veins. Electricity making connections in my brain through my fingers. Same electricity running through the wires. The internet is my home. My terminal is my bedroom where words manifest sounds and colors. Nothing else matters now. What was I so worried about? All this bullshit going on in my head? Those fears, those voices, always talking, always rambling about how not good enough I am? They don't matter now. They don't exist. Through this connection at my fingertips, I can finally breathe. The music is fast-paced, the code is flying, but I breathe. I go on for what feels like an eternity, but all good things must end. At some point, the wave comes down. Short circuits, broken pipes. From one bug to the next, the connection is lost. Internal server error. From there, I have two choices. I cry from the fall where I feel grateful for my time flying. Tomorrow is another day. There is always time to come back and ride the wave. This is not over. But right now, the world needs me. I unplug. The memories allow me to keep breathing. I'm ready. I can do this. I can do this.
What? Like, totally? That was legit. I mean, like, super legit. Like, you might say it's too legit. In fact, you might even say it's too legit to quit. Hey. Sorry, bad MC Hammer reference there. You know, the truth is, I actually played with Sonic Pi. I've written music like that before. My song ended up being like an hour and a half long. The lyrics were done after about 3 minutes, but the last like hour and a half were basically me trying to exit Vim. It didn't work out well. So I'm going to leave it to Mynah or to Abigail. Go check her out on Twitter. Go sponsor if you're into that. Go sponsor her on Patreon. Go check out her. She's on Spotify. It's focused music is what it is. It's amazing stuff. Listen, I have been so hyped for this next segment for weeks. Okay, weeks. I've been talking to our next guest for, I think it's been well over a month, planning to have him on, and it's finally here. I'm like a kid at Christmas. I can't wait. Let me introduce you to one of my coworkers, one of a fellow developer advocate here at Vonage, Kelly Andrews. Kelly, how are you doing?
Hey man, how are you?
I am just peachy. How are you doing?
I am great. Yeah, it has been, oh goodness, at least a month, probably 6 weeks or more. It's finally here, and I'm going to disappoint you. I'm really sorry.
No. We canceled a month, so it was me. So I am so stoked that you're here. So for those of you who don't know, Kelly is going to bring us some magic.
Yeah, something like that, right? Okay, so let me back up a minute. So everybody I talk to knows that I have 6 kids, right? At some point I bring it up in conversation. Everyone on the stream now knows. Most of the people I work with know. Most of the people I meet at conferences, they all know. It's I'm always talking about my kids. I have 6 of them. They have all given me a special power, right? I can't really explain it, but it's something that not every dad, I think, gets. And it's this perception and kind of intuition. Have you ever tried talking to a teenager and trying to understand what it is they're saying? Because that requires some intuition, some perception. You know what I mean?
Yeah. Oh, yeah.
So one of the things I like to do with my kids is we love to play board games, which is why I have all this set up here. I use sort of my perception and intuition skills to give me a distinct advantage. I like to let my kids think they're doing well, and then I absolutely crush them. Because if I let them know that they can beat me at something, they may all hang up and take me out. So I have to keep them in their place and make sure that they understand that. And it's Clue. It's one of the best games out there. You want to play a little bit of Clue with me?
Gosh,
tonight?
yeah. I mean, I used to play Clue like, oh man, it's been decades at this point. I remember Clue. Yeah, like Professor, somebody did it in the study with candelabra kind of thing, right?
Yeah. So the game was it's really an interesting story. It was created in the 40s during the air raids in Britain by a musician named Anthony Pratt. Now, him and his wife did like murder mystery parties at some of his clients, and based off of like Agatha Christie books and some popular detective books at the time. So they decided while they were holed up during the air raids to start building things. So this literally was a game born out of a quarantine of sorts, right? So I'm pretty excited to see, like, in the next few years, what sort of board games are going to come out of this. I don't know, like maybe something called Pandemic or something. Oh, wait, that already exists. Never mind. So we'll see. Maybe somebody will be more creative than me. So anyhow, so they put this together.
Did we lose you? I think we lost some audio there, Kelly. Yeah, hey, Kelly, I think we lost your audio. I think Kelly lost our audio. Kelly, I think we lost your audio there for a second.
Hey, can you
There
hear
you
me
go.
now? All right, let's try one more thing here. Can't see myself anymore. There we go. All right, so where'd you lose me?
Pandemic.
I
There's
did
a game called
dissertation.
Pandemic.
Did you miss it? Yeah, okay, so Pandemic. Yeah, I guess that already exists, so I should have did my research better. Anyway, so Pratt ended up selling it. Like, Parker Brothers picked it up. They took it to America, made it widely popular. They sold like millions and millions of copies of this, hundreds of millions of copies of this game. And Pratt actually in 1953 sold it, full rights to it for $14,000. So he didn't get any royalties or anything off all the sales. But he was pretty generous about it. He was, didn't really mind. He knew a lot of fun went into making it. But the best part about the game is not actually the game. It's actually, they based a movie off of it.
Yeah.
Do you know what it's called?
What wasn't it Clue?
Yeah. Have I already done this?
No, but I've seen the movie.
Oh, great.
Yeah.
Great. It's one of my favorite.
Yeah.
It's actually, I've introduced my kids. My kids love the movie now. It's based off of the Butler Wadsworth, who was actually played by Tim Curry. He was actually third in line, and right behind actually Mr. Bean, Rowan Atkinson, which I thought was crazy. I couldn't see anybody else but Tim Curry play it now. He did such a great part of that. But the movie, the fun part about the movie was they actually had 3 distinct endings, solutions to the mystery. And when you watch the video now, you sort of see all 3 of them at once. But when they first released it, each individual theater got a different ending. So you didn't know which one you were going to go see.
I didn't realize that. That's really cool.
Yeah, it was sort of a fun thing. They had a 4th ending that never quite made it, and I hear they're actually rebooting it, and it was supposed to be in production, but I'm not sure where that's at now with everything going on. But yeah, very much excited. So you remember how to play the game?
Yeah.
Right? Okay, so we have 6 characters. Right, we have Professor Plum, who is played by Christopher Lloyd, actually. Now, Christopher, in the movie, Professor Plum mentions he works for the World Health Organization, which is a part of the United Nations organization, which technically makes him working for you-know-who. That was a joke. You can laugh. It's okay. Then we have Mrs. Peacock. We have...
I apologize. I just got it.
Welcome back.
Oh, are we streaming? I'm sorry.
There's lag in my camera. It must be it throws my timing off.
Yeah. It wasn't, but it took me long to figure it out. Yeah.
Well, I'm throwing you something here. Lifeline. We have Colonel Mustard, right? Now, Colonel Mustard was actually originally going to be named Colonel Yellow, but the executives at the toy company, when they first started it, they weren't real happy with that name because yellow in military slang is cowardly. So they thought that didn't make sense. They'll make him Colonel Mustard. Then you have Mr. Green, who's actually a reverend, I found out, which is interesting. Then you have Miss Scarlet. Now, Miss Scarlet was played by Madeline Kahn. Although Miss Scarlet was not Madeline Kahn. Madeline Kahn was actually coming up. She's the next one. This was actually she's gonna be played originally by Carrie Fisher, but Carrie Fisher was unavailable when the movie started, so she didn't make it. But in the movie, her dress was so tight they actually had to put a board against walls so she could rest. She couldn't sit or do anything. It's really interesting. like they just put her like, I don't know how they got it on, I guess, but that's a different story. So then the last one is Mrs. White. Wait, it's pink. It's because Mrs. White in 2016 was actually removed from the game. So the Mrs. White used to be a character, but now it's Dr. Orchid. Now, Mrs. White in the movie was played by Madeline Kahn. That was where I meant to go first. And Madeline Kahn had some of the best scenes in the whole thing. When they hired her on, because of her work in like Young Frankenstein and Blazing Saddles, they actually took Mrs. White and expanded the part. And the best line in the whole movie is Wadsworth is like, you know, well, your husband disappeared. And she says, well, yes, it's because he was an illusionist. That was his job. And he says, well, but he never returned. She says, well, he wasn't a very good illusionist. But she was amazing in that movie. It was such a great movie. It was a terrible box office hit, but it's become a cult classic. So in the game, normally what you do is you take 6 cards, you mix them up, you put them in. Now I actually have an envelope over here. We'll come back to that in a minute. But what I want you to do is I want you to pick one of the characters. It could be any of them, but it'd be a plum shame if you didn't pick this one. But it's up to you. I don't want to force you out anything. So if you could pick one of the characters, which one would it be?
Can I get Colonel Mustard?
You sure you don't want Professor Plum?
Yes.
All right.
Did I screw up the trick?
Colonel Mustard? Colonel Mustard, okay. All right, we'll go with that, I guess.
Did I break the trick?
Well, we'll keep going. We'll see how it goes. Now we have weapons. 6 weapons in total. There was originally much more sinister weapons. They had like an axe, a bomb, a bottle of poison, which actually Professor Plum in the movie mentions the brandy might have been poison. They had a small hypodermic needle, a fireplace poker, some really crazy stuff, right? But now they have things like a candlestick. They have a revolver, which has actually 6 barrels for each individual shot, as opposed to like a revolver with 6 chambers and 1 barrel, which is pretty interesting. Then they have the rope, a knife, a wrench, and then the lead pipe, which is actually bent, implying that it was hit over someone's head, which makes a pretty good weapon for me. So honestly, I don't know if any of them hold a candle up to the candlestick. So if you want to pick that one, that'd be great. Or you can just pick one of the other, one of the 6, whichever one you want. Which one do you want to go for?
See, I feel like I feel like you're telling me to pick the candlestick, but I feel like I should not pick the candlestick because you told me to pick the candlestick. But then I think, well, maybe I should pick the candlestick because you don't really want me to pick the You're
making one of the classic blunders of all time. You never trust a Sicilian.
I'm gonna pick the knife.
The knife.
Yes.
You sure? All right.
The revolver. The revolver. I'm going to the revolver.
The revolver.
The revolver. Yeah.
Man, it's like you really didn't want this to work. All right.
I'm not sure what would be better if it worked or if it didn't.
Keep going. We'll keep going. All right. So now we got the board.
Okay.
The board is based. It was called the Hill House, and it's a mansion. It doesn't really exist. It's fake. So it's got the hall doesn't count. The hall is a free space. Nobody got killed in the hall. That's where they all came in. But we have a study, a library, a billiard room, a conservatory, a ballroom, a kitchen, a dining room, and a lounge. Okay, so those are your 8 choices. Now, I would suggest you study it real hard. And
we're in the same thing again. We're in the same thing. And this time I'm going to take your suggestion and I'm going to say the study.
No, really?
Yeah. I'm going to go with it. Yeah.
Okay, so you want the study?
The lounge.
You don't want to change?
The lounge. Yeah, the lounge.
Lounge. All right, so we'll go with the lounge?
Yeah. The lounge. Yeah. Colonel Mustard with the revolver in the lounge.
I'm sorry. Did I give you my script?
I've played this game a lot. I love this game growing up.
Played this once or twice, I guess. All right, so we have Colonel Mustard with the revolver and the lounge.
Yes.
Right? You're sure?
Chat, I'm going to let chat help. Chat, what should I do? Should I keep it the same, or can I change anything?
Let's just go.
Sean says keep it. Okay, I'm going to keep it. I'm going to keep it. Stand by your gun, says Kevin. Okay, don't change it. Colonel Mustard with the gun in the lounge.
I was trying to influence you, obviously, but you're too smart for that.
Oh, yeah.
So, so let's get this out of the way here. Now, I put 3 cards in this envelope earlier today.
Okay.
Now, through suggestion, like over the last week or two, like you don't even know it, but you notice like we've been chatting a lot more at work.
Sure.
Been dropping subtle hints. You probably didn't even notice it. They're all very subliminal. But in this envelope, I put the cards that I suggested in your head.
No.
And I don't know. Would it be pretty cool if any of them actually matched?
Oh yeah, absolutely.
Yeah. So let's see what we got here. Oh. 1, 2. All right, I got a person. I got a weapon. And I got a room. I did it. It's a perfect match. You're not buying
No,
it,
I'm
right?
not. No. I am on the edge of my seat in anticipation.
All right, which one are you concerned with the most? Which one do you think I might have actually gotten right?
I think you might have gotten Colonel Mustard right. I think no on the revolver and no on the lounge.
Wow. 1 out of 3, man.
Yeah. Hey, listen, that's better than I would have got.
So let's start with the room.
Okay.
Now you said the lounge,
yes,
correct?
Yes.
Now you originally said study. But see what I was doing, I was trying to make you look at the study, but I was actually pointing over here at the lounge because that was the card I put in. Can you see that?
Oh my gosh. Is that the lounge?
All right, so that's the lounge. I can show you. I'm a little far away, but it's like my light is also. Got it?
Okay. Oh my gosh.
No, I was trying to get you to say candlestick, but you didn't go for it, which is good because I actually put revolver in the envelope.
What?
And unfortunately for you, you did make one of the classic blunders, which everyone picks Colonel Mustard.
No.
That is 3 for 3.
Are you kidding me?
3 for 3.
What?
Right there.
Colonel Mustard with the revolver in the lounge.
In the lounge. Well done, sir. Well done. Let's get some good choices.
What? What is happening? Kelly, that is amazing.
Thank you very much. Thank you.
One of the questions I've had for you all week, if this worked, is can you tell me the lottery numbers in Georgia next week? Do you have an envelope with those numbers in it?
Every time I've predicted the lottery, I'm always one number off.
Oh my gosh. You're the first 3 are right. Oh my gosh. Kelly, that was absolutely amazing.
Thanks, man. Thanks. Appreciate it. I'm glad we got to do this, and it's been a few weeks, but hopefully it'll be less time between now and the next one. I'm not telling you.
I feel hoodwinked.
Good. I think I did it right then.
That is I have been anticipating this for weeks, and you did not disappoint. I can't I cannot wait to have you back to do this again, maybe with a different trick or something. To do this one again, maybe this one every week until I figure it out, because I don't know what I'm gonna go watch the replay really slow. I
love it.
Oh, this is awesome, Kelly. Thanks so much for hanging out with us.
All right, man. All right.
Wow.
Thank you, man.
You
Have
too.
a good one. See ya.
That was, I don't know. I am rarely speechless, but I don't. Now I'm wondering, is the world round? Maybe it is flat. My world is really turned upside down right now. That was legit cool. Wow. So let's go do something else cool. I am going to be joined by a very good friend. I love when she's on the stream. I love when I get to talk to her because you'll recognize her immediately. She's one of a kind. Ladies and gentlemen, to give us a demo of some code, Miss Diana Rodriguez. Manrique, what? Where is your volume? Did you not hit mute?
Oh, sorry about that. No,
You know what?
Billy Joe.
Forget it, Diana. Forget it. Forget it. You're. If you can't be ready when we come to you on the stream, no, I'm kidding. Welcome back. You know what? I've been chatting with you kind of behind the scenes a little bit. I have had the best time. For those of you kind of behind the scenes of the stream today, it's been so fantastic because Diana's been on a Skype call with me this whole time. And I don't know if you've been like talking to somebody or like going through this demo ahead of time, but like you've been like chatting, but you were muted. So like when I would look over, you were just chatting it up. And I can't tell if you're like, you know, preach it, Jen, or if you're like, this music's amazing, or what. But I'm just imagining what you might have been just cursing me. I don't know. But it's been so much fun just to glance over there and seeing you so passionate about something. And I hope it's this demo. What are you going to show us today?
So we are going to see a photo booth using Vonage video APIs and Vonage communication APIs. And this is going to capture a stream from a user webcam. It's going to snap a picture, and it also has like a 5-second countdown. It's got an auto mode. And this is something I learned from you. We've all learned a lot from you at Vonage. This app extracts canvas every second, and using the Microsoft Face API, when it detects a smile, it stops and snaps a picture, and it will show you which ones you want, right? And then there's a drawer to show the captures and the possibility to filter them. Filter as in apply a filter. Then you can click on the pictures to download, or if you like them, you can send a link to the image with SMS. So we're using, again, the Vonage Video API, the Vonage Communication API for the SMS messages, Azure App Service, Azure Cognitive Services,
wow,
JavaScript, and Vue. There's also a Python backend version, and there's an article about it as well.
It sounds like you've got a lot. I'm going to turn the floor over to you and let you show off what you've done.
Thank you. This is what I live for.
The stage is yours.
Thank you very much. So yeah, let's talk code. First of all, I don't want you to worry about seeing code. I'm just going to go through the essentials of, this app. Obviously, there is a link. There's going to be a link in the stream for the demo afterwards. So no worries. It's just my nerdy homage of talking nerdy to people. I love talking code. So we're using Vue Js for the front end, and there are two versions of this app. One has an Express.js backend, and there's also a Python backend. You can find them both in a different branch in the repository. So the strategy here is to create a static version using Vue, and then, configure the backend. In this case, for context, I'm going to use the Express example to read a static directory where we do the Vue build. And then if you see this is very friendly. This is why I like Vue Js, because it's very readable. Even if you don't have much experience, or if you don't like me, no, I'm not well versed in front-end development, it's friendlier for me to figure things out. So in here, we're creating a Vue instance that will be used to render our templates. And then we're using a plugin that has been saving my bacon since it came out. It's Vuetify. It's material design for Vue. And then we're also importing all that to pass it to the Vue constructor to use that in the application. We also have to define in this data section all the variables of our applications. So our tokens, our API keys, etc., etc. And this is cool because Vue has something that I like. All the variables we define in this data section have a really cool characteristic of being reactive. So if anything changes here, it will be reflected in the template automatically. And well, we're going to use our camera. So the webcam has to be capturing all the time. And then we're gonna use a template, a block, to click. Basically, we're going to simulate a click. And then we're going to use a container where we put our publishers, which are basically capturing the stream from the webcam. And I'm going to go through a few other things. So this is where you see the publisher, which is what I was talking about. My slides got delayed a little bit. And then inside of this div, where we're basically capturing the video, we have an initialize session where we basically init our video capture session, right? And once we have the publisher initialized using the session ID and the tokens that we defined before, then you'll get this approve access to your webcam. Ideally, when we allow, our cam should show right in the middle where we want it, and we can start capturing from that video stream. Then we also need a button to take those snaps. And for that, we need a method that is going to detect our emotion. It will calculate the probability of a smile. In this case, we use the sentiment, the face API, grabbing the sentiment, and we're going to look for happiness. So we're forcing people to smile, just as an experiment for this app. So if the user doesn't smile, then it will return an error message. And I'm getting excited because you know what? After explaining all this code, I just want you to check the demo, and I'm going to show it live. Isn't that crazy? So this is an extremely long piece of code, but I'm just going to share ideas. Don't worry about the wall of text. I wanted to show you some Homer Simpson GIFs as I explained this. I'm just overexcited about what it does. So this is a method that does a lot. It evaluates a lot of important conditions. So I'm going to go through the most important. The first one is to capture a frame from the stream using publisher, and then that data is to to the endpoint of a face API, but we have to convert that to blob. And this is so cool. So we basically send that petition through a post, and then the face cognition services will know what kind of information it will return after analyzing it. And then there's another another event called Ready Stage. We're basically analyzing if the petition was successful, and then it will evaluate a response. If the emotion that we want to capture, which is happiness, or happening as well, it equals 0.5. So I think, if I'm not wrong, it evaluates from 0 to 1-ish. I might be making a mistake, but I chose 0.5 as a, a standard smile, right? You can't fake it. You have to smile. And then, well, this is where we tell people that if the response is happiness, if it's evaluated that way, we see everything is good. If not, it will show you a message in a snack bar that says smiling is a requirement, smile, and we'll take your picture. And then this is just, it's a lot of code for a single method, but it's so nice. And then we have a control panel where we have to set the image download and sending the SMS. So this is really cool because we execute a method called download images. So it will go through each and every one of the images, the original image with filters, the one another image that will look like a photo booth strip, and it will apply a method called force file download, which will in order create a link to the image without adding it to the DOM, and it will basically trigger a click, so you can download it. So, oh my goodness, yeah, it's so much code. We already feel like Homer in this picture. The only thing we've got left to do is to send the SMS, and for that we need a special configuration because we need to store those images that we take in a special place. So this is where the backend comes in place. In this case, we have to serve the static build from Vue Js, but we also use that backend to create an endpoint where the send SMS can make the petition to send that message. And it's really exciting. We also create a snaps folder, and it will be a public directory where all the pictures will be stored. And then obviously, we will be able to send the image to our friends. But I know we need to see this. Before seeing it, I'm going to explain deployment very quickly because it was so cool to do it. It was super friendly for me. So we basically use the Azure app service, and we did it through a Docker container. So basically packed everything in Docker. The Docker file is already in the repository, so you don't have to worry about setting anything up if you want to try it yourself. These are just the steps to follow. You basically pull from your own Docker Hub account, and you select which container you want to pull, which image. In this case, I had this one. And then we see that deployment is going mint and well. And then the angry people want a demo. Let's check it out. Let's check it out. I'm going to do this. Whoopsie. We're going to do it live. So it's, oh, I'm so excited. The demo gods are in my favor. So I can see myself, and I want to snap a picture. I'm gonna smile. I forgot to tell you all, with all this excitement, that Michael Jolley and I were really pumped about Phineas and Ferb. So that's why it's themed like that. The picture in Nature 2000. I'm gonna take a picture. Yes, you see it. And then if I click on it, it will download as it did. And then if I want to send it, I have a number. It's not going to be public, but if I send a message, I'm not going to make it public. Obviously, not going to share secrets. But basically, you enter the number in here, and then you can send it to your friends, and they will receive a text message with a link to this picture. I can actually use one of my dummy numbers to show. This is a Google Voice number I use for these demos. I had forgotten about it, and I'm going to input that number because I don't even remember my own mobile number myself. So here we go. So there we go. Oh, we got the right format. It's gonna send. Oh, of course, I didn't select the image because I was so excited. And there we go. And message was sent successfully. And I got it. I'll show you. Here's a link, and it even gives me a preview of the image. Isn't that cool? So that's it. And you can find the links. I'm not seeing the Twitch stream at the moment, but just in case, these are the links as well. It's opentalk-nexmo.azurewebsites.net, and then the GitHub repo is opentalk-photobooth in the OpenTalk community GitHub repository. And that's it, my friends. We can build awesome things with these communication APIs, and I mean, development doesn't have to be boring. I love these things that make people happy.
That was so cool. When you started demoing it, I was like, wait, I remember this project. We worked on this together a while back.
Yeah, it was actually a lot of fun.
Yeah, I love it.
Michael Jolley, you always have good ideas.
Don't believe the hype, ladies and gentlemen. Diana, that was so cool. Does anybody in chat have any questions for Diana on how this works? There was a lot of technology you got in there. You got some Vue, you've got some Python, right? You've got let's see, what else did you have? You had you're using the Face API, right? With Microsoft's Azure. You're deploying it on Azure, and then you're using the video API from Vonage and the SMS API, right?
Yeah. And there are two versions of that same app. One has an Express.js backend, and the other one has a Python backend. Just to show that we can achieve the same results the way we think it's friendlier or easier for us. And this is a way to spread, this whole weapon of choice philosophy. Whatever tool you think works for you and makes you feel comfortable and gets the job done will always be the best. So I'm trying to spread that love for whatever you like, is the right tool. Zero framework wars, or I'm not trying to mob anyone into Python, but of course I love Python.
Yeah. Well, you've taken it, like I remember where we left it. It was been months ago we've worked on that. I remember where we left it. You've taken it a major step forward. So kudos. That was really cool. Are you going to have a blog post about this?
Yes, there is a blog post in the developer blog, and I will. Yeah, I did. It's actually a 2-part blog post. I forgot to give you the link, but it will be in the stream for sure.
Which is so I'm gonna put a link to the blog as a whole, and then you can go find that blog post for Diana's stuff there. That's very cool. Diana, thank you so much for hanging out with us.
Thank you. You guys are amazing.
Always a pleasure. And we're gonna let you go. We're gonna go check in with our hackathon contestants and see if we have a winner. Hello. Hello, hello.
Hello. So, do you want to know how we're all doing?
I do.
You hear us?
Yeah.
Okay, good. That was my test to see whether or not audio was working. So hopefully both Eric and Chuck had fun with the hackathon. We got some of the tasks completed, and I am happy to announce that.
Drum roll.
It's a minute long drum roll, so we got a minute. So the winner is actually Eric with 105 points. Mostly because he asked for more points and I told him no, but good effort. But Eric did win. He edged out Chuck. And how did you both find using this? This is actually a lot of new code about the last 6 months of rewriting a bunch of this. So I would love, you don't have to tell me right now, but I would love feedback on all this. And I guess, Eric, do you have any words as a winner?
Not particularly as a winner. I thought it was a good challenge. The code was great.
That's probably, I think that may be the highest score we've ever had on the hackathon so far.
Just proves how nice it is to work in PHP.
I make that joke right after Diana said we're not going to have framework wars and all that kind of language wars. Use whatever tool you want. I realize. Oh, so sorry. Congratulations, Eric. Chuck, thanks so much for hanging out with us and participating. Hope you had a good time. Eric, you are the proud winner of either Surface earbuds or AirPod Pros. So we'll have somebody reach out to you in the probably next week, early next week, to figure out shipping and all that kind of stuff. Congratulations. Thanks to both of you.
Thanks, everybody, for putting this together.
Nice. This was a lot of fun.
Yeah, and Chris, thank you for facilitating tonight.
Thanks for having me.
Well, with that, we have come to the end of the show. Let's wrap it up, folks. Let's wrap it up. Where's our music? I can't just end a stream without some music. Where's my music at? Hello? Bueller? Where's my music at? Doggone it. Don't you know who I am? I demand some outro music. I know what you're thinking, Michael. Okay, we get it. It's stream's over. Just wrap it up, champ. No. I will have this music because I love this music. It makes my heart happy. In the words of my 4-year-old. Oh, you know what? I know why we don't have this music now. And I feel... There we go. Close down. There we go. Everyone, I hope you had a great time tonight. It was such a fun stream. Chris hasn't copied the music from his old computer. That's not true. I haven't pulled it down from OneDrive. So there we go. Hey, Thanks everybody for hanging out with us tonight. Thank you to Jen Looper. What an amazing conversation we had about diversity. I've got a lot of things I'm going to think about, and I want to go check out that book she mentioned as well. For Earth to Abigail, what an amazing musical performance. I mean, I think we can all agree that was just wild. Really impressive that she's doing that code programmatically with Sonic Pi. Go give her a follow at Earth to Abigail. Listen, Chris and all of our contestants of the hackathon, they did amazing. Congratulations to Eric on that win. That was pretty cool. Diana, what an amazing demo. I love the Picturinator 2000. And Kelly, we're going to talk later about how to do that trick, because that's not natural. It's unnatural, I tell you. I hope you all enjoyed it. Listen, did you know that we at Vonage will actually pay you to write blog posts for us? It's true. Our Developer Spotlight is a program where you can submit an idea for a blog post using our APIs, write a blog post for us, and we will pay you $500 for that post. It's a great program. You should check it out. We'll put a link in chat where you can maybe sign up for it, learn more about it too. And then, we love hanging out with you. That's what our job is, to help you build things that are cool and to just be around, right? To hang out in the community. So listen, join our community Slack. We're going to drop that link in chat as well. We love any questions you have about our APIs. We want to answer them. Heck, we love to answer questions all the time. We love this stuff, right? We love writing code, and we love helping you build better stuff. So listen, thank you all again for hanging out. We'll be back in 2 weeks. Don't forget all the other amazing streams on the VONAGEDEV channel. If you're not following, follow. Do it now. Press the button. Oh, wait. Did you do it? Okay, thanks. Listen, so many great strings from No Experience Required, the Low Code Hour, from Lauren Learns Things. There's Developer Drop-In. There's too many of them to name, but they're all amazing. And trust me, they're better than this because they don't have me. Check them out. We'll be back in 2 weeks. Next Friday, I think it's the 17th, with another episode with some other great guests and stuff. Listen, everyone, thanks again for hanging out, and we'll catch you on the flippity flop. See ya.